Ingraham. She joins us from our nation's capital. Laura, it's one thing to protest, but it's another thing to be a looter or somebody throwing a gas bomb at a cop.
You know, in watching the state captain, police captain there, who I think, is trying his best, you remember what he said several days ago, right? That we have to engage with the community, we have to show them we care.
Right.
And I understand that impulse, I really do. But we know now that thugs are thugs. People who are going to take advantage of the situation are going to do that, especially if they know that the media is all there, right? Got the cameras on everyone. It's become its own reality show, right? Sure. So there are going to be cameras trained on you. You're going to be looting, and you might get stopped, but you probably won't get stopped. They arrested 30 people. Did you see the video that I saw? Mm-hmm. There were hundreds of people rampaging through the streets.
Well,
and
these
good people again.
Good people. Yeah. They're from out of town. A lot of them are from out of town, Laura. They're not even local. They're not even local citizens there. And the other night,
well, I don't know how much I don't know how much stock I put in that. I'm sure there are a few people who are from out of town, but I don't think we have commuters coming from the West Coast commuting in to loot. I mean, we are led to believe by community activists that they're looting because they're angry. They're doing these things because they can't control their rage. I would say, let's raise the bar for people of all backgrounds and colors, right? And if you're black or if you're Latino, if you're a poor white person, you can't rampage through the city. If you do, you will pay the price. Sure. And your emotions really can't come into it, because good people, good single mothers who are trying to send their kids to school today, guess what? I believe school is closed again in Ferguson today. How is that helping the situation?
Laura, you're
and
right.
I don't think Eric Holder is going to do a darn thing to quell the situation. Forgive me. I know that hasn't been said on this network. Eric Holder, with his history of saying we're a nation of cowards, President Obama is being criticized because he's black. All these things that Holder has said it lays the groundwork for the way he'll be received in Ferguson.
Yeah,
I don't think that is going to do anything. I'm sorry. I find the situation to be despicable, how it's being handled and how the media is further sensationalizing an already very difficult situation for the good people on the ground there, and also Michael Brown's family.
Laura, I'd like to get your reaction here, too, in terms of what the president said about being really careful as to not appear as though he's taking sides. Take a listen.
Yeah.
I have to be very careful about not prejudging these events before investigations are completed, because although these are issues of local jurisdiction, the DOJ works for me, and then when they're conducting an investigation, I've got to make sure that I don't look like I'm putting my thumb on the scales one way or the other.
Is that what we want?
Well, those are nice words, but first of all, the DOJ also works really for the American people, right? The Department of Justice exists to enforce laws across the board, federal laws of federal concern, regardless of heightened political frenzy, regardless of political affiliation. And I would say this: what do you think would have happened, guys, if Tea Party activists, right, came to Washington, D.C. after the IRS scandal broke and decided to start smashing windows, rampaging through neighborhoods, throwing firebombs? What do you think Eric Holder and Barack Obama would do? Would they start saying, well, we understand that people are angry, we really get your emotion here, but you really have to, this isn't acceptable? Do you really think there would have been this nuanced language, this emoting that has become the pastime of this administration when the politics works for them? Instead, it would have been a clampdown immediately, because the last time I remember, they were worried that one gun was brought to a Tea Party rally a few years ago. Remember that? Right. Someone brought a gun to a Tea Party rally. There were whole cable shows devoted to that.
I want to get your response, Laura, to what's been said about Al Sharpton and others coming in there, criticism being leveled at them for, striking up political opportunity to come in and try to get out the vote. In fact, Sharpton was booed when he mentioned part of his political action, the National Action Network, the other night. And then this, did you see this? A voting booth was set up on the street.
Registration booth.
Registration booth, registration booth, to get people to get out the vote on the same street where Michael Brown was killed. Take a look at this picture, Laura. What was your response to this?
Yeah, well, I'd like to say I was surprised. Is that the same registration booth they set up at the border a couple months ago? They just move it. Is it on wheels? I can't really tell.
How crude is it, though? How crude is it to try to capitalize on this moment and really exploit the death of Michael Brown at this point.
Again, Elizabeth, there were 3 girls who were 3 years old each, killed, shot, murdered in Maryland, not too far from where I am right now, already in August. 3 little, I believe all of them are minority girls, okay? There are horrific incidents of violence. Police might be involved in some of them, citizens might, illegal immigrants might be. We pick and choose which ones to go into as a federal matter to federalize the whole thing, right? This is what the administration decided to do in this case. They haven't been down to the border. Eric Holder hasn't been to the border, but Eric Holder flies into Ferguson, you know, with his superhero cape, and we're supposed to all think the administration's working for us. This is political at its core when Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson get involved, and I do not think most Americans watching this are going to think that the administration is not prejudging this when Eric Holder is the one who's flying in. I don't believe that, and I think a lot of people who are hardworking people from all over the world who live here legally are getting a little tired of being told implicitly or explicitly, because they exist, that they're racist. People are getting really tired of this. It's tough out there for everybody in the middle class and the working poor. They're getting tired of this. Hashtag
Ferguson federalized. All right.
Yeah.
Laura Ingraham, you've got plenty to talk about on your radio show that starts about 50 minutes from right now all across the country. Thank you very much for joining us live.
Thanks, Laura.
Thanks so much.
Okay.